Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I'm going to show you another deck profile, which starting from clan selection point 2. So this will be the first one, and of course we will have more. And what we are going to showcase today is Dimension Police. This is the deck that I actually playtest the most. It got some bad points, it got some good points, and of course I will go through that. And I'm also working on another version of this build to have another focus, and of course I'm going to let you know the idea, but I'm still developing that part. So without further ado, let's go with this build first and see how it works. So first we do have 4 seals. So this is a new support from the sets. It's very interesting with the first skill, which whenever he appears from hand on Vanguard Regal Circle, if you you can actually look at the top card of the deck and call it to Regal Circle, and if this unit is on Vanguard Circle, then you can minus 5k on your opponent's Vanguard for each marker they have on the field. So the bad point with this skill is a few things. One, if your opponent is using Protect 1, you can minus any of them, because the count on markers is only on circles, so if they got the Protect marker in hand, then will count. But having a free +1 is very nice, but there is a card that I have in this deck actually might a bit contradicting with this skill, but I put that in because I want a little bit secret tag, some little spice, so they're still there, and you will see it in a bit. And then the second skill, being able to minus your opponent's Vanguard by 10k and maybe possibly gaining drive is quite good, because you like imagine your opponent is not playing Protect 1, because we do have a lot of Protect 2 clans, Force clans, XL clans right now, and if you really fight against them, then you can minus them further with the first skill, but you still can minus them with the second skill, which at least minus 10k, which is already a trigger, so still very helpful. But then you do make sure you don't eat too much of your regards, because you always don't have a large amount of hands unless you play a lot of draws and you meet them. That's another story. If not, usually what I do is I put 2 regards into the soul, gain 1 drive minus opponent's 10k. And also it requires you to have a grade 2 seal in soul, so you, and of course your opponent's to be grade 3 or higher in order to gain drive per 2 souls you put in with this skill. So that means you can also put a grade 2 seal on your Riga circle and then put them in and still get the effects off. So it doesn't require you to basically write every single pieces in order to get to whatever you want. And next, for the blacks, you know him well. Superior Right, give power to front row, which benefits you to use Force 2, because you can gain power by black, and then you can minus power with Zeal, so you can actually try hard to push more damage whenever you start riding grade 3s. And then of course your black can still help you search for other grade 3s to ride, or even if you already have a Zeal in hand, you just get yourself another grade 3, so you have the cost to discard, even though it's only looking top 7, but that still help a lot. So the main combo is to use your black, Superior Right into Zeal, build up another extra unit, so you can do 1, 2, 3, 4 attack at least. And if you have active mass, you can do like more, like 5. So isn't too bad. And since black if your front row 10k, you can basically attack without boost. But if you do want your active mass to stand, you will probably at least get 1 attack being boosted by screen order in order to meet the power. or at least get your buyback boosted so that you can meet the numbers. And then going to the grade 2, starting with the grade 2 Zeal, is interesting on right minus 5k from your opponent's Vanguard. The first skill is to rescue unit by counterbalancing 1 to minus 5, and if you have a grade 1 Zeal in Zeal, you can draw 1. And this is a Vanguard and Regal Circle skill, so you can basically just do once, and if you still have more resources, you can do it twice, draw 2 cards, minus 10k of your opponent's Vanguard by counterbalancing 2. So a little power adjusting sometimes helps, because that little 5k sometimes really matters. But when I actually play test with the deck, I usually miss the Great Realm Ride on Zeal, so I don't always get to draw. So which also makes me a little bit harder to actually activate the skill, because I need to rest 2 regards. But if you can get your rides Great 1 Zeal ready, you can at least draw 1 back, so isn't bad at all, but you just need to use it very carefully. And since your Zeal will allows you to put your regas into your soul, so you can first minus 5k using the grade 2 Zeal, and then the 2 rested units just counter last one and put them into your soul to minus your opponent's Vanguard extra 10k, so at least at minus 15k. And the highest Vanguard power we have right now is around 15k with grade 4s, I think. So just by doing one of each, you're already turning them to 0. If they are like normal 12k, 13k Vanguards, they will go to minus, so still helps, but you just need to use it carefully. And then 3 of the platinum ace, not diamond ace, platinum ace, mainly for the on Vanguard Circle plus 5k, so I do have some early pressure to my opponents. They can just simply draw a 15k shield and think they can full guard it without boost. Of course, you can still use the second skill, but most of the time I don't have a chance to actually use it. But it's there. If you need a little bit more power adjust, you can do it. And then next, 3 of the active masks. Since he did use Counterblast and this use Counterblast, this use Counterblast, this use Counterblast, so I don't actually get to withstand him too many times in the fight. Usually once or twice, so I'm not running 4 off. It's good to have him here. In the most part he shines is when you use black to give him 10k. Else he's just like a 10k withstander. It's a little bit hard to use by then, because most of the time my focus is on Force 2, so there might be chances that I need to use him to actually attack a regard and extend it, so the pressure is less. But with black, I place a Force 2 onto my active mass, that at least he can swing for 2 times with crit, which is kind of nice. But again, he takes up very valuable counterblast, and we don't actually have counter charge right here, so do use him carefully. And then the secret tag is the Lyrical Veil. So this card is the order card released in Twinkle Melody, the Bermuda set. The first time it get used outside of the Bermuda deck is on the leaders, while you requires to have a lot of regards to kill. Then that's where people actually use Lyrical Veil to bring the cards back, which is also interesting. When I look at Zeal's ability, I need to eat my regards into my soul, and I don't actually use my soul that much, because just right here, if you just look at what we have on the field right now, it's only this. So we do have a lot of souls, and if we don't find a way to use them, it's kind of a waste, so I try to use this, which this card can bring 2 regards that is grade 2 or lower from your drop zone to regard circle, and then you can select any number of 3 guys from both players' field and give them intercept, and they can intercept from the back, which usually is used on Bermuda so that you can use your grade 3 and force your opponents to intercept all their field and clean the board. But with DP, you won't give your opponents intercept at all, but you can also give your grade 1s intercept because they can now intercept from the back row. So if you have a full field, you do have to intercept 5k grade 2, and then you have 3 10k, or even if you have grade 0s, like if you call a heal trigger from Zeal, you can at least turn them into a 20k interceptors, because this is a 3+1 and it's kind of random, so the lyrical valve can actually kind of turn the things around, and you can basically rest 2 with this, which can be great 2s, put them into soul, minus the opponent's total 15k, and then use your lyrical valve to bring whatever key to your board that is grade 2 or lower, reborn them, give your whole board intercepts, and go all in and protect yourself after. So this card is really good, but the downside is you need to have 2 of them in your hand, because you need to use one, and the cost requires you to discard another one. That's why I'm running 3, not 4, not 2. 4 to me I think is too much. 3 is just a backup that in case one of them go to damage, and it did happens. But if you see like 1 to 2 already go to drop and you want a faster game, feel free to just drop them whenever you need to drop card. For example, with your black to superior right, with your PG, since it got no shield value, but it's a little secret tag that you can actually use to have some fun and confuse your opponent, because they probably won't see this happen. And the great ones, 4 of the great ones Zeal, because it's a basically a free searcher for grade 2 or higher Zeal. Sadly, he can search himself, even though it's name restricted once per turn. That is something that really bad, if you ask me, because I prefer to actually search any, because we only have 3 types of Zeal. Of course, in premium, maybe we can do something differently, but in here we only have 3 options, and now we can only search for 2 and 3s. But I guess having it able to go for a Vanguard and Regular Circle scale is something that we can't complain too much. And it's a free search. If you get a card from there, it's a free card, so after that you can basically use this to rest. You can call that unit out and then absorb with the grade 3 Zeal. So there's a interaction, so you can get benefit from the grade 1 Zeal. But the really sad point is we only get this grade 1 Zeal, so if we can't ride it, then this can't draw, and we need to take a little bit of time to find it because we don't have any search for this card. Then of course, since we are using Force 2, we need 3 in order to push our Vanguard power to 30k above in order to withstand our active mass or give our Platinum Ace extra 10k crits. So it's still kind of key here. Yeah, nothing too much to say about this card. You know how strong he is. And then 4 of the Grand Road, trying to search whatever grade 3s that I want to. I did thought of using the other rare grade 1 that one right lock top 7 to search because I don't want to discard. But I instead of only 1 chance, and I need to gamble that and compete with like a grade 1 ride with the grade 1 Zeal, so I rather use something that I can do it whenever I call it. So Grand Road is here, and he can simply get 5k power plus to be 30k attacker booster, so it's kind of better in this build. Yeah, so that's basically the non-triggers, and with triggers I'm running 6 crits, 4 PG draws, 2 normal draws, and 4 heals. So kind of understandable, I think, because we don't have a lot of cards in hand most of the time. It's good that we do have a chance to draw from the Grade 2 Zeal, but if we can't ride a Grade 1 Zeal, that is not happening, and we need to discard a lot. Like black already discarding 2 cards, so and you need to keep placing cards on the field. Lyrical fail until they become useful, they're kind of a dead card here, so you probably won't count them as amount of hands unless you're just discarding whatever. So more draws I think is better, and since we're running Force 2, we don't have to worry too much about the extra crits, but being able to reach 3 damage just by 1 hit, I think 6 crit is still probably more stable in order for you to achieve that. Yeah, so very simple list, and then let's go into what you can do as a right options and some little actions that you can actually do that I've already talked about, but I think it's maybe easier for you to see it visualize. So see you in a bit. Okay, so let's talk about some right options and some combos you can do. Most ideal grade 1 options will be these 2, but if you have your grade 1 Zeal, make sure you just ride it, because this will link you up with the grade 2 Zeal in order to draw your separate card. But if you really don't have one, Grand Road will be a second option, so you can at least try to search something and try to benefit from it. Try not to ride your train order, because in the end what you prefer is to actually have 3 train order at the back, so that your Vanguard can be pumped like so much. Yeah. So after that, your grade 2 options will be, of course, the grade 2 Zeal in order to draw yourself a card, or if you want to do some early pressure, you can go for Platinum Ace. So this, you can simply just call whatever 2 regards, rest them, -5 drawing card, and just simply attack. Or if you do have other cards you want to call like that, you can still like do this. But if you really don't have this, or if you want some early push, you can still go for Platinum Ace, Chorus Grade 2 Zeal. This can still draw a card, but of course you don't have the on right effect to -5 from there, and then you can simply just call this, so that your Vanguard is 15k, your Regard side is 18k. If you're going first, your opponent is on 8k. This, they can only use 15k shield for 1 pass. This is can't use the 10k shield, then at least you need to give you 15k shield, so the shield requirements will be quite big. But if you are willing to wait a turn, you can still do something like this. Of course, you might see it as like, I am -5 on our opponent's Vanguard, isn't it the same with this? And if I do it this way, I probably gain more benefit because the 5k is continuous. But you, in order to minus your opponent's 5k, you need to rest 2 of your regards. So you still need to somehow place 2 more in order to do the same effects. So that is something that you need to think of. Do you have enough resources to do this kind of play? And of course, if you don't, and you still just prefer, okay, 1 attack is enough, then of course go for a grade 2 Zeal. But if you want to do some early pressure, then that's probably a better idea. So that's really up to you. But talking about possibilities, something that you can do, and how you roll from there. Then your Griffy ride, you only have 2 options, so don't need to think too much. Whatever you have, ride it. But if you can choose, buy your black first, because black, even with you, when you're going first, you can still search yourself Grifferys and still get to pump your front row, unless you really are confident that when you use Zeal, You minus your opponent's 5k. Call yourself a card. Imagine they don't have any markers because they haven't reached grade 3, and then use the skill to minus them 10k more, a total of 15k, and you can finish them there. Of course, go for Zeal. But if you don't think you can yet, it's better to go for black minus 5 from there, and get yourself a force 2, which I will place on Vanguard Circle, and then from there put your active mask behind a train order, since you need to spring it first, and then when your Vanguard attacks to withstand it, and your Vanguard needs to be 30k plus. So if you are on black plus 10 already, and plus 10 with the skill, because you have only one force marker, that will be enough. But then if you go for Zeal, do remember you do need another train order push in order for him to go to 30k plus, because you won't gain power from there. You're only minusing your opponent's Vanguard power, no matter the grade 2 Zeal or the grade 3 Zeal. So do note that, because if you just go for this and hoping this can withstand, and it will not, because it's when your Vanguard attacks, it's not when battle ends. But if you can get a black, then your active mask at least can just do a simple withstand. And whatever you have, you can even just place a grand rope here. Give them 10k, is still a 23k beater, 23k with crit train drive, 20k with 2 swings, so 28 and 20, and if your triggers you can do there. And then after that, what you can do with your black fully is probably just like swing to pump, just a little swing, because already reached 30k, so you can simply just soul blast and on Zeal card. Then look at top 7. Of course, when this attacks, you withstand this, and then after this attack ends, look top 7, try to find yourself a grade 3 and a Sakura in the Zeal. Gain yourself another force marker, probably here, because you don't want to gamble, and then call the top card on here. It could be this, it can be this, it can be whatever that you have, and just call on top of this. So let's say you just got a grade 2 maybe, and then if you can minus, do the minus. If you can't, of course nothing else you can do, and just swing with these. That's basically all, unless you actually, when you review the top card deck is this, then you just place here and go to drop. It happens one time when I actually play the deck, so that can happen. Or of course you can still call the triggers out, which is where your lyrical veil becomes handy, because even if you do this next turn, like when you're still on your Zeal, you can simply, of course, eat them if you want to. And if you do have a grade 2 Zeal, you can even just do this, rest 2 of the regards, and then just eat them, because this might just intercept and die, and then they go into your soul, minus opponents another 10k, and then use your lyrical veil, soul blast 2, make sure you keep this pair, then you might probably drop this, you might probably drop this, or if you have other grade 1, you can feel free to drop them, and then pull the grade 2 that you actually need. If you don't have color blast, then you can go for this. And since now you actually do have 2 force markers, one of this can pump your Zeal to 30k plus, so it's easier for your active master to stand for this to gain extra power and crits. Yeah, and even when you do this, you can first pump your Vanguard and then use your Platinum 8 skill. So this is something that you can also do. And since your opponent's Vanguard is getting 5k minus, 10k minus, they're already like minus 15k, and with two markers, hopefully you can push opponents through from there. If not, you're just kind of repeating the process, going back to flat black again, and then with multiple swings and go to Zeal again. Or even if you have more seals, you can still just write your seal to get another force marker. Make sure all your lines are like with 2 crits, and just keep swinging. Yeah, so I think that's all I need to talk about this deck profile. Right options, things you can do with the deck. I think it's quite fun to actually use this, but of course the order cards got their bad side, they got the good side, so it's up to you. Do you want to try this method? What I'm trying next is a more defensive build, because I actually couldn't reach straight through when I faced Regalia if they can go in full force and they're going first. That's something that I actually can't help, which I think most of the decks can't help as well. But I'm trying to increase the survival rates when I'm going to see these kind of builds, that they go first right and they try to finish me off there. But if I can get myself some kind of defensive, maybe I can survive, and at least I can continue to play the game, right? So that's something that I'm working on, and once that's done, I will show you guys the build. But of course, I do have other clans coming up, and my friends borrow me some decks too, so I can probably do deck profiles for those, including Regalia as well. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, that's it for me today, guys, and thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.